Welcome to this Ask Us Almost Anything episode of the Maza's Musings podcast. This week, Eileen and Meghan decided that they were going to spend part of their first week of summer vacation helping me out with the podcast. And so this week, I sent out a call asking everybody to ask us questions. What did you want to know about us? Whether it was about Disney or anything else for that matter. Had a lot of Disney questions, had a few Star Wars questions, and a few other questions as well. All the questions were great, and I'm really appreciative for all of the really great feedback we got. Of course, one other really great thing about this week's episode is a great laugh with Meghan's Cuckoo Bananas Joke of the Week.
And now it's time for Meghan's
Cuckoo Bananas Joke.
Hi, Meghan.
Hi.
You have a joke for us today?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
What do you call a dog in the winter?
I don't know. What do you call a dog in the winter?
A chili dog.
That's a good one.
You should tell that one to Grandpa. He would like it.
Instead of a hot dog, a chili dog.
Well, sometimes Meghan's jokes have me questioning exactly where she gets her sense of humor. This was not one of them, though. That was great. And of course, you guys had lots of questions for us for this episode. But before we get into that, it's been a while since we've had one, but we are going to do a Maza's Mickey Minute.
Donald, wake up! It's showtime! Don't forget the orchestra!
Ah, there you are. And just in time.
Mom says there's even more magical stuff now.
For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the doors.
Hang on to them hats and glasses, cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness. And here we go!
Well, we're doing a Maza's Mickey Minute this week, even though there are quite a few Disney-related questions in this episode, because there's some pretty cool news that came out of Walt Disney World, and that is that at Epcot, the new test track, basically test track version 3.0, is going to reopen on July 22nd. Now, obviously, this is something that they've been refurbing for quite some time now, and we've started seeing more and more progress, but now we have a date. It's going to be July 22nd, and according to the Disney Parks blog, this attraction update will debut an all-new musical score, as well as new scenes that highlight technology that makes cars smarter and our lives more fun. One of those scenes showcases how vehicles can use advanced cameras and sensors to see the world they drive through. Walt Disney Imagineers were able to represent this tech utilizing over 29,000 points of light. And it goes on. There's a whole thing with Disney Imagineering on Instagram that kind of shows how all of this works. There are going to be special previews for cast members, annual pass holders, DVC members, Golden Oak residents, and Club 33 members. And I'd imagine those details are going to be coming soon if you haven't already received them. So that's pretty cool. Eileen and I have been wondering about this for some time. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to actually see it for a while. Of course, that's somewhat fortunately because we have some other things going on. We've got the Disney cruise, and we also are taking our trip to Europe next year. So it's kind of obviously kind of a good news, bad news kind of situation there. But I'm interested to see how this works. And usually when there's a new ride, I tend not to look at the point of view stuff because I want to have a clear mind when I go in to see these things and not necessarily know what to expect so that I can have my own opinion on it. This, I mean, it's going to be about 2 years until I go again. So I'm sure that I'm going to be taking a peek at some of those. So it seems that Disney is now on the road to having Test Track back up and running. And if you want to get on the road to your next great Disney vacation, you should check out We Do Travel Right. We Do Travel Right offers that concierge level service and the one-on-one service of an agent that really helps you get the most out of your vacation. They also have the power of the dining team at their disposal and can really help you with all the ins and outs of the parks and help you get those hard to get reservations, whether it's hotels or dining or whatever it is. And sometimes it's just nice to be able to sit back and let somebody else do that work so that you can just relax and enjoy your vacation. And the best part about these services is they're all free. Yeah, you don't pay anything else to use We Do Travel Right because Disney or Universal or cruise lines or all inclusives pay them for you. Yeah, they build the use of an agent into their pricing already. So you're paying for the agent whether you're using it or not. So if you're ready to get your next magical vacation started today, go to wedotravelright.com/Maza. That's wedotravelright.com/MAZA.
Well, I can't do any more damage around this popsicle stand.
So long, partner.
See you real soon.
All right, I am here with Megan and Eileen, and we're going to have a fun little family game.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Megan, so it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. Has anything exciting happened since the last time?
Well, you just finished something, didn't you?
I finished first grade,
Yeah,
and
Eh.
now I'm in summer vacation.
that's right.
Me too.
It's going to be a fun summer for Mommy and Eileen. It's going to be a fun summer for Megan and Eileen. I guess my brain's already on summer vacation. Wow. And hopefully I'll get to have some adventures with them. I know that I'll be going to Maine at least for a couple days. You guys will be there for a little longer. And then later we're going to go to North Carolina so that we can visit Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else? We're going to see a couple baseball games, I know.
And I'm going to summer camp.
That's right. Yep. So lots happening this summer. And so now that we've got a little more time, I thought it would be a good time to kind of have everybody on the podcast for another episode. Since it's been a while, has it been since we got back from Montreal? Is that the
I think
last time?
she must have done it after our last Disney trip.
Oh, that's right. Probably the last Disney trip. I didn't have a chance to look back.
I
to
don't
see when.
remember, but I
I
feel like
think-
she must have.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, what we did for this episode was we asked people if they had any questions they'd like to ask us. We called this episode Ask Us Almost Anything. And so it was a chance for people to maybe get to know us a little bit more and ask some questions. Some of the questions are kind of silly. Some of them are a little more serious. A lot of them are about Disney.
Yay!
So we'll actually get started with some from Granny. Granny actually sent 3 questions. Now, each one, there's one question for each of us, but I think that if somebody else had an answer for these as well, that would be okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Granny wanted to know from Megan, what is your favorite vacation that you've been on so far? And what made it special?
I don't really know.
Well, do you have a favorite place you've been?
No.
You don't? So we could just go anywhere?
Yeah.
Really? There isn't a favorite place that you'd like to go for vacation?
No. I don't have a favorite.
Okay, so I guess we don't have to bring Megan to Disney anymore.
And maybe that's not her favorite, but I think if it's not her favorite, then we should know what her favorite is so that we're
Everywhere I've traveled is my favorite.
Everywhere you've traveled is your favorite.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine being that easy to please. Why aren't you this easy to please at like dinner time?
I don't know.
Mommy, do you
Uh,
have a favorite vacation?
I mean, I think going to Disney is probably my favorite place to go. I mean, if I had to narrow it down to a specific Disney trip, no offense to either of you, I'm probably going to say my first time going down there.
Oh yeah, that's a special trip.
Back in 2007 when all 30 of my mom's side of the family was there. So,
oh,
and that was,
30.
yeah, there were 30 of us on that trip. Nana and Bup took all of their kids and grandkids. And at that time, only
And
one
great-grandkids.
great grandchild,
Who?
Haley.
Oh,
So that was like the most magical week ever.
Yeah, I would probably say, I mean, we've had a lot of great experiences, but our honeymoon, that was
Yeah.
a great trip.
That would be
'Cause
my number 2.
we got to ride on a float in a parade at Disney with Mickey Mouse.
I was going to say, not just any float, the float that Mickey was on.
Yep. They don't have that parade anymore, but they used to do a parade in Animal Kingdom, and we got to be in that parade.
what?
Yeah.
What? All right. And Granny wanted to know from Mommy, what do you like to do on rainy days? I think that Granny was looking at the outside, and it's been really dreary since summer vacation started here in Massachusetts. So I think that she was looking for some ideas.
Well, on rainy days, we like to run errands inside to get us out of the house a little bit. So find places to go. But we also like to go to the library. There's always lots of activities to do at the libraries.
Yeah.
And read. We did some reading.
I did lots of reading.
But I think mostly just finding like little indoor things just to get us out of the house a little bit, because I don't love being stuck in the house all day long.
You did lots of reading. Is there anything else you like to do on rainy days?
Jump in puddles.
We do. We didn't get to do that today, but yesterday we went puddle jumping.
Yeah, I don't know really what I'd like to do when it's rainy. I guess I just kind of hang around. All right. And Granny had a question for me, and this is a tough one. What is your favorite brewery in Western Massachusetts?
Ooh.
And I think it's really hard because it depends on what you're looking for, you know? So there are so many things, like if I'm in a different mood, I'll go to different places. I mean, obviously, like the best, some of the best beer is Treehouse, and their new spot in South Deerfield is really cool too. And they've got the outdoor area. So there's a lot to do there. But man, that's a really, really hard choice. You know, there's so many great ones.
And I think that's harder because there's like personal connections with
Yeah.
a lot of the breweries.
Mhm.
So not that you don't want to like offend someone or anything like that, but it's one of those things that, like, I think because there's personal connections, it's
harder to
to
choose.
choose just one.
It's harder to choose, and it's great because I go to a lot of these places, and I'm going in there and seeing friends. So, you know, it's not like, you know, just going to another business where you know, there may be other businesses where I have friends, but in the broader sense, you know, I walk into the hardware store. I have a favorite hardware store, you know, but it's not the same kind of thing as, you know, when I walk into all these places and there are people that I know and who I've watched their businesses grow and watch them make things that I really love and that they love making. So yeah, that's a really, really hard question. I could give you a really long list of the breweries that I like and that we go to a lot, but we do have limited time in the podcast. So I'll give if anybody's interested in that list, I can email it to them afterwards.
Do you have an answer?
I just gave my answer.
He just can't name a specific single one. I bet you could even include a Meghan list too, based on
That's true.
quality of fries and tots and food at different places.
So, Megan, do you have a favorite brewery to go to?
Treehouse.
Treehouse. Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet it's the one in Deerfield, right, with the pizza.
The fishies.
Yes, they've got fish. Well, there are fish at both of them, but
Yeah, but I love the fishies.
there's the fishies on the inside of the one in Deerfield, and then they've got the outdoor koi thing.
Charlton.
How about you, Mommy? Same.
I'm, which is kind of why I explained the statement for you. Yeah, definitely depends on what I'm in the mood for.
All right. So moving on to Grandpa Maza, my dad. He had a few questions. The first one I think is more specific to me. Now, Grandpa was a little silly in the way he asked his questions, so I kind of like made it all sanitized it a little bit.
I don't know. I think you should have read exactly what Grandpa said.
Well, you know, if there wasn't a younger participant, then maybe.
Okay.
But the first one is more for me, and it's why did the Red Sox trade Rafael Devers? What?
I don't get it.
Well,
I don't know what
that's why I
so
said
the
it
Red
was...
Sox just gave away one of their players. They trade, you know how like you might trade a pencil with someone at school? They traded a player, a really good player.
But instead, like they gave away like a brand new pencil and got back a bunch of little broken pencils back.
Would that be a good trade?
No. So, short answer is because, well, they don't really know what they're doing. Actually, I think they know exactly what they're doing, but it doesn't involve putting a winning team on the field. So, anyway, moving on to something much brighter. Why is Meghan so cute?
That was Grandpa's question.
That was Grandpa's question, and that's actually, the actual question. I didn't.
Do you have an answer for that?
I don't know. I don't know what makes me so cute.
Well, clearly it's her parents' good looks that make her so cute.
Of course. I think that it's also her silly personality.
Maybe
not her pretend silly personality.
Her real, like when she's not trying to be silly, when she's just naturally silly.
Choo choo.
Yes. Megan's had a couple of obsessions right now, and then one of them is apparently saying choo choo, and the other one is crabs. Now, I think if she actually saw a crab at the beach, she would probably freak out, but
I would.
We'll have to look for some crabs in Maine.
No.
All right. So the next one from Grandpa Maza is, why does my daughter want a motorcycle?
I believe it was his youngest daughter.
His youngest daughter want a motorcycle.
Why do you think she wants a motorcycle?
Why do you think Allison wants a motorcycle?
I don't know.
Why do you think Allison wants a motorcycle?
My guess is it has to do with the feeling of freedom. I've only rode a motorcycle up and down a driveway on the back of one a couple times. And I was probably like 6 years old.
What?
Bop used to have a motorcycle. But my guess is it's the feeling of freedom.
And I think that she probably gets a little pleasure in
torturing her father.
Exactly.
What?
Oh, you get lots of pleasure out of torturing me too. So
what's torture?
Just as you get older, the ways you torture
be
become larger.
What's torture mean?
Teasing.
Ow.
And the last question he had is on Disney cruises. Do they have games for seniors to enjoy? So are there things that older people would like to do on Disney cruises?
Is that you saying you'd like to go on a Disney cruise with us?
Maybe. Well, there's bingo.
There's bingo, I know. And that's an all ages thing. Like, you have a friend your age who's obsessed with bingo there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
breweries for grown-ups.
Oh, there are.
I don't know why.
There's a couple of like lounges there, but he asked about games specifically.
Well, he's asking about games, but if there were other things that were of interest to older people, yeah, there are some nice lounges and things like that. I don't know. He did mention specifically like something like shuffleboard. I don't think I actually saw any shuffleboard.
I
there.
think
Was there?
there was like, she was in the kids club and you and I were exploring the ship. There was like an outdoor, like it might have been shuffleboard. It was something outdoors. It was on like like we were walking around the outside of the ship.
Okay.
Um,
I don't remember that, but
there was stuff painted on the ground, and I think there were some people playing something. I don't remember specifically. We really didn't explore games and activities, but I know there's tons of things like that because like there's the list of everything to do. And obviously there's lots of grandparents that go on cruises, so I'm sure there's some things for them to do. The shows are great.
Yep.
Not that it's a game, but
all right. And Grandpa had one more question, but it kind of took a political turn, and we don't do that kind of thing here. So I'm just going to leave that one alone.
What?
you can talk about it together when we see you in August.
All right. So the next one is actually going to be a Star Wars question. So we'll do our best with this one with Meghan, who hasn't seen a lot of Star Wars. She's been to Galaxy's Edge plenty, but this is from Pat and Charles, who are the hosts of the Conversations podcast, which is a favorite podcast of mine to listen to stuff about Star Wars. It says, hello, Maza family. Pat and I would love to know which Star Wars vehicle you would love to pilot or ride in, and which character you would like as a co-pilot to join you. Well, I know that Meghan has already piloted one Star Wars vehicle.
The Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
Would you want to do that again?
No.
No?
What would you want to fly? What would you want to fly?
I don't know.
Maybe an X-Wing?
I don't know.
You've certainly made a few X-Wing Lego.
Oh, yeah.
Only one.
Only one? I thought you had more than one. Anyway. But that would be cool to fly. And then you could fly that with R2-D2. Or BB-8.
No.
Well, I'm going to say, if you don't, she doesn't know a lot of the ships.
Yeah.
But who would you want to be your co-pilot? Who would you want to fly with you?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. He's so cute.
I don't know how much help he would be in actually flying the
if
ship, though.
Frogs got in the way, he'd eat them for you.
That's true.
I mean, he might be able to use the Force to do something. I'm going to be really lame, and I'm going to say that I'd want to pilot the Millennium Falcon, even though I did that once already.
But not the real piloting.
Right.
That's right. Meghan was doing the real
That's
piloting.
right. And I think I'd want to do it with Chewie. So really not all that.
Yeah, I mean, you stole my answer, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look, the first time that we were at Galaxy's Edge and we were having a drink, I was talking about how I felt like Han Solo, just like being there and the Millennium Falcon's right there. So, like, that's something that I've always wanted to do. So, I still haven't had a chance to fly the Millennium Falcon. Maybe next time.
That wasn't the first time at Galaxy's Edge. That was the first time you and I.
For you and I, yeah.
Like together.
Yeah.
She was. So the first time we could like.
Really kind of slow down and experience yeah. All right. So the next one is from Dan, and Dan wants to know which Disney character would you invite to your house for dinner?
I think you know.
I think I know, but you should probably
tell
everyone listening.
Mickey.
Why?
I don't know. He's just my favorite.
Fair enough. What about you, Daddy?
This is actually a tougher choice than you might think.
Yeah. Like, do you go traditional and like invite Mickey? Or do you go like princesses? Or do you go with like obscure characters? Or do you go with villains?
Or Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess you could put Star Wars in there.
Well, I guess here's the question. Are we each having one guest at dinner and everybody's at the table together? Or is it like Meghan says, "Hey, I brought Mickey home for dinner"?
It said, who would you pick? It doesn't say anything about anything else.
That's true.
I think it would be someone from Star Wars.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody who would have interesting stories, because if we're sitting at dinner, somebody who would have some good No, you know what? Because he'd definitely be able to help put on a good dinner show. I'm going to go with Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Hey, that would be it. We've already seen he can put on an entertaining dinner.
That's true.
Granted, our house may never look the same, but
I'm stuck on this one because like for the exact reason. It's like, do you go with like one of the main characters? Do you go with princesses? The one that keeps popping into my head, and I don't even really know why, is Rapunzel. And like she's not my favorite princess. It's just like she kind of pops into my head as someone who would be kind of enjoyable to have dinner with. Like
that's fair.
she does a lot of things. Like she has a lot of things. So there'd be a lot that you could talk about. You could always,
But she might bring Pascal and he might hide.
Yeah, but then that could be something entertaining too, is to find where Pascal is.
I bet it would help if I had my Lego out.
Plus the whole fact of like how she hasn't had a lot of experiences like that. She'd just be in like awe and wonder too.
And she's always in a tower.
Right, but she does so many things in the tower that you can know every time there's a dull moment in the dinner conversation, you could be like, "Oh, tell me about your painting or your cooking or all those other things that you do in the tower."
I would also think that she would be able to because she spent so much time in one place by herself, finding ways to keep herself entertained. So if there was a lull in the conversation or whatever, that
it would not reflect on us.
No, she'd have the creativity to find some way to, to liven things up again.
Oh.
All right. So the next one we have is from Joe, and Joe had a couple questions. Now, one of these is
who's Joe? I forget.
You don't know this, Joe.
Oh.
But the first,
not your uncle.
The first one is a Star Wars question, and it's what Star Wars character that you can't currently see at Walt Disney World would you love to meet and take a picture with?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know a lot of most of the Star Wars that you know is from going to the parks.
So who's there? Rey is there.
Mm-hmm.
Met her.
And Baby Yoda.
Grogu and Mando are there. BB-8's there. Kylo Ren is there.
Mm-hmm.
The Stormtroopers are there.
Stormtroopers.
Chewie is there.
Chewie's there. Is Vader there? I've never met Vader there, but
I've seen him before.
But I've heard he does go on the stage. Has done like some of the stage shows there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's there currently.
I don't know. I think I'm going with Princess Leia.
That's a good one.
She's a princess, so she should be there.
Mm-hmm.
And she does some pretty cool things. If I had the opportunity to meet her, I would definitely do that.
I'm going with Luke Skywalker. He was at least available for a while at Disneyland, but not at Disney World. And yeah, that I'm always thought that was a little unfair. I understand that he was there for a reason at Disneyland, but usually when something happens at Disneyland, it ends up happening at Disney World, and this isn't one of those things.
They could do a Luke and Leia meet and greet, except the line would be really long, I think. Luke and Leia are brother and sister.
Oh.
That's why I was like, you could put the two of them together.
So yeah, most of Megan's experiences with Star Wars have been through the parks, so it's okay if she doesn't have an answer for this one.
And I don't know Star Wars.
Maybe R2-D2.
That could be kind of fun, kind of like the BB-8 one.
Yep.
You've met BB-8 before.
I know I have.
All right, the next one is there a ride at the parks that you love to go on, but the family isn't that excited about?
Define the family. One member of the family? Because
Yeah,
I
I
know what
think
she's
so.
thinking
Yeah.
about.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I actually don't know.
I know one with one member of the family that is not as keen on it as we are. The teacups.
Oh, yeah.
I think there could be a few that you could easily say that might apply to both of us, but the teacups are not. Megan loves the teacups.
Yeah. Yay. I want to go as fast as I can on the teacups.
And I try to go as fast as I can on the teacups, but there's somebody else in our house who does not love to go all that fast on the teacups.
I was thinking,
We're looking at you, Mommy.
Megan could also say the Speedway. She loves to do that, the Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
But
I like to drive,
If
but I
Daddy-
need help a lot.
if Daddy and I never did it, that would be okay with me. I don't know, because like you don't express any like complaints about going on any of the rides that I want to go on. I mean, maybe like the Voyage of the Little Mermaid or something like that. That is something that if it wasn't Little Mermaid, we would probably skip sometimes.
But that's the whole point. It's Little Mermaid.
But-
It's a fun ride.
I know, but like we never skip it because that's my favorite.
Mhm.
So
There's only one part in that I don't really like.
when like Ursula's changing Ariel.
When the eels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flotsam
and Jetsam.
Yeah. That's a See, for you, I was thinking you could say like Cosmic Rewind or something.
Huh?
Because
Oh, because, well,
she hasn't done it yet. I don't
and you're not a huge
And I'll-
fan
yeah.
of it.
I enjoy and appreciate it, but I always like
But that would be one that if sometime I was just like, hey, Shoreline, I can do this. And you were just like,
go
Have
ahead,
fun.
we'll go ride.
We'll go ride Speedway.
Well, that's
they're
at a
not
different
the
park.
same park.
We'll go do the
Moana.
Oh yeah.
What?
Anyway, on to the next question.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Is there a restaurant at any of the parks that is everyone's favorite? I think that there's one that we all like and really enjoy, but I don't know if I'd call it our favorite. Garden Grill.
I don't know that would be my favorite.
Yeah.
No. The one that came into my head first, it technically isn't at the parks, but the one that came into my head was Topolino's.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you and I had dinner there, and it was a delicious dinner. And we've done we had dinner there. I think on our 10th anniversary trip. I know we had dinner there. It was really, really, really good. And then we've done a brunch there, and then the three of us have done a brunch there. So that was the first one that came into my head.
I like all the brunches.
Megan does like the brunches.
Yeah.
And I really like the brunches.
So Megan likes the brunches.
Well, and that's, again, Topolino's falls into the brunches.
Yeah.
That's the one with Artist Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's not at the parks, but that might be our favorite dining experience is the character brunch at Topolino's.
But then again, when you put it in, like we did eat dinner there. I know you enjoyed it. I'll find pictures to
I'm sure
prove
that
it.
it happened, but
I
what really
remember one time you let me bring Mickey, and artist Mickey was surprised that I had brought Mickey. He
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a top for
Yeah.
sure.
And truth, it's not at the parks, but it's right on the Skyliner, so it's close enough to the parks that it's at least a couple of the parks that it's it can be part of a park day easily.
Yeah, and that's a really tough one because we do try to go to different places at this point. We, especially lately, we've really tried to try as many different places at the parks as we can. And we have a hard time with that sometimes because it's like, well, I really want to go here, but let's try this one this time. And yeah, again, not at the parks, but I think I'm going to go with Topolino's.
Yeah.
All right. The next question we have is from Donald, who asked, which do you prefer? Oh, and I don't know if Megan's seen either of these. Muppet Christmas Carol or Muppet Treasure Island?
I've never seen them.
Well,
What?
I'm not going to say it because Daddy's going to be mad.
Go ahead, say it.
Nope, I'm not going to.
Go, say it. That's what we're here for.
Say it.
Well, I guess I know what we're doing on Friday night.
What?
I've never seen Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh boy. Yep. We know what we're doing on
That's
Friday
why
night.
I said Daddy's going to be mad. So I'm going to go with Muppet Christmas Carol. I do really love that, but I've never seen Muppet Treasure Island. So
Muppet Treasure Island is a lot of fun. But Muppet Christmas Carol is one of my favorite movies, not just Christmas movies, one of my favorite movies. So it's really not a contest. It's definitely Muppet Christmas Carol.
I think, no, I don't think we did Muppet Christmas. We did the Mickey Christmas Carol with her.
Right.
I think she'll be ready for Muppet.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, Christmas is still 6 months away.
Okay. So the next one we have, and I guess this is a little bit open to interpretation. Anita and Joe asked, what is your biggest park feud? So I guess, is it something that we disagree on at the parks, or?
I think it's something we might disagree on.
What's feud?
So something that
That's a disagreement.
that we don't think the same way at the parks. Like,
Is there something that you really like that maybe mommy and daddy are like, yeah,
or something mommy and daddy really like that you don't like? You can say it.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is tricky.
Hmm.
We do tend to have a similar mindset in terms of the parks and things to do.
Slink Dog.
What
about Slink Dog?
I just like it.
Well, so do
I
we.
think
So is
that's
that a
something we all-
disagreement?
No.
Yeah, I think that's something we all agree on.
Yeah, that would be one of our biggest agreements is that we love Slink Dog. I think one of the things that sometimes gets arguments is making sure Meghan drinks enough water.
It says rides.
No, it said
No.
feud at the parks. So something we might argue about at the parks. Like, I'm like, drink water, right? And sometimes you're like, I just drank water. We do sometimes get into little arguments about that.
Oh yeah, like when I get ice cream, you're sometimes like no.
Yeah,
That's the constant battle.
we don't get ice cream, but that's an inner battle too. We always want it, but we can't always have it.
I know, so I want. So sometimes we have arguments about it.
Okay. So Megan's is that we don't let her get ice cream 10 times a day or even every day.
Yeah, it's tough from
I get
our
ice cream
standpoint.
from a dinosaur.
That's true.
We did get ice cream from the dinosaur.
Yeah, we tend to have a pretty and we tend to be pretty flexible with each other too. So it's even if there's something that
You know where we sometimes get into arguments is, and it's not even an argument, it's trying to get out the door in the morning, and we're all moving quickly and we're all trying to go, but I feel like things are a little tense sometimes because it's like go, 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 go.
I'm really tired in the morning.
yeah, I can't really think of anything for this among us. When I think of the Disney feuds, I think of more of the general things like Canada or Mexico.
Hmm.
And of course,
Mexico.
we're in agreement on that. But then, of course, people have that discussion, and then you throw in that now there's the other entrance, with the Skyliner, and then which way do you go that way? You start in France, but which way do you go?
I'd still totally go back to Mexico and start in Mexico.
You would just bypass everything. Be like,
Possibly.
sorry, everybody, I'm going to Mexico.
Well,
that we might have a problem because, like, wait a minute, that might cause a feud.
we've never done that because we don't come from
But I
that.
need all the things for my little suitcase. I need all the things for it.
Right. We'll still get them all. We just have to start in Mexico.
Yeah, that might cause a feud with her too. For if we have to bypass Kid Cot places to get to Mexico first. But like you said, we don't normally start at the International Gateway.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, half of the people that are coming in there are no, not half the people. A third of the people are rushing past the countries anyway to try and get to Guardians.
That's true.
And another third are going to Frozen, and the last third are going to Remy's. So it's really the Frozen and Remy's people that have to decide.
All right. So the guys at Mickey and Minutes, which is another podcast I listen to, it's a Disney podcast. They actually wrote the new music for the podcast. They wanted to know what our favorite family board game or card game is. They also asked about video games. So we don't play video games. So do we have a favorite family board game or card game?
Do we have to do it
We don't all have
together?
to agree. No, I think it could be each of us can share our favorite, but like something that we play as a family.
Go fish.
Go fish. I was going to say Uno.
Yeah, we play a lot of Uno, and we, that's something that we can take to places like an earlier question about breweries. A lot of times we'll hang out and we'll play some Uno, or also Guess Who.
Guess Who. But now she got some Go Fish cards at the end of the year, so I think those.
And I have set word Go Fish, but I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is either.
I think it's in with some books somewhere.
But those sight words are like kindergarten sight words, so we probably need to get some new sight words.
Yeah, so I would say the problem is this is only a 2-person game, but I really like it, and I really like to play it with you.
Well,
That's Don't Break the Ice.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I also like for board game, Pete the Cat Pizza.
Pete the Cat
Oh
Pizza.
my God.
Yes.
I like to put
With our modified rules.
Yeah.
I like to put the gross stuff on Daddy's side and
Yes.
the good stuff on my side.
For those who aren't familiar with this game, basically you're moving around the board, you're adding different things to your pizza. And Megan likes to hide, or she likes to hog all of the good things for the pizza. And then she gives me things like
A stinky
mud
sock.
or a stinky sock or rocks. All right.
I like to get all the food. I like to get all the food, even if I don't really like it. I like to give Daddy like stuff that's not really food.
And Megan also likes to get all the desserts on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So much chocolate. Chocolate on the pizza. All right, we've got a couple more. Kelly wants to know if you could eat only one Disney snack, what would it be?
Oh, I know this.
Go ahead.
Mickey ice cream bar.
What about you, Mommy?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We don't snack a whole ton.
Yeah,
A pretzel from Germany.
I was like,
that's a good one.
it's either that or the ice. It was either that, the ice cream sandwich, or the ice cream bar.
Mm.
The ice cream bar.
Yeah, man, I guess like you said, we don't snack very much. I mean, I think that we are, at least 2/3 of us have never had a Dole Whip before.
Dole Whip.
I
And
know that Megan and I haven't.
no, I haven't had a Dole Whip.
So we've,
No, I haven't.
which may be shocking to
I
some
almost
people.
got one at the Poly when we were there
Yes.
just because there was no line. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and then we moved on or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing. I thought about it too, but then we ended up getting distracted by something else and moving on. And probably just Megan kept moving, so we had to keep moving. But no, I think I'm with Megan. The Mickey ice cream bar, especially a lot. It's so hot sometimes
It is
at Disney.
refreshing.
And the thing is, the ones that you can get in the store are not the same. The ones in the store don't have that dark chocolate that has that nice snap to it. It's got a little bit different flavor. And man, on a hot day, snapping into a cold Mickey bar. Now I want a Mickey bar.
I need a Mickey ice cream bar.
sounds like-
I need a Mickey ice cream bar.
You just dissed on the ones in the store, so it sounds like we need to go to Disney to get one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
The ones at school don't have crunch.
Oh, the ice cream sandwiches. Yeah, no, those are.
Those are ice cream sandwiches. They're a different kind of thing.
I know.
That's like what Mommy
I
likes
usually
to get.
Yeah, but the Mickey ones are just better anyway.
All right. We've got one more question. And this is from Nicole, who wants to know, it's not a Disney vacation until what? What's something that you have to do on every Disney vacation?
I wonder if hers is going to be the same as mine.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, what's yours going
Get
to
a
be?
Mickey ice cream bar.
Oh, I was going to say until I've met Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. No, I would say that too. It's not.
I would say that unless if the ice cream bars weren't there, but since they are there,
Because ice cream is delicious. She's licking her lips right now.
I would say that. I would also say, like, we're big fireworks people. Seeing the fireworks in front of the castle, and I know we know some people are just like, yeah, I've seen fireworks. But
Still cry every single time.
it is. It just hits different, and so that's something that I really really have to do every trip. All right. So that wraps up the questions that people had for us. Thank you, everybody who submitted questions. Honestly, we got a lot of questions. I was a little surprised with how many we got. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to send us a question. Let's see. Well, Megan's eating chocolate now. So if she could hold off on eating more chocolate for a
She's
second.
had enough too.
No, I haven't.
There's no
All right.
such thing. It's summer vacation.
I'm not one of those summer vacation moms that lets the kids eat whatever they want. I'm sorry, it's just not me.
So, Megan, before we go, is there anything else that you would like to say?
Thank you for listening and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Choo choo.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this episode of the Maz's Musings podcast. This was a lot of fun. We've never done anything like this. And I'll readily admit that sometimes it's hard to come up with an answer right off the top of your head. We really didn't have a chance to look at these or prepare answers ahead of time. So the answer you got is what we came up with. The most that I looked at these really was when I was compiling them all from whether you sent us emails or commented on social media or sent a message on social media, compiling all of those into one list. So hopefully you had some fun listening to this and enjoyed some of our answers. If you've heard some of these questions and you want to give them an answer, you can always, reach out the way that you did to ask the questions. You can go to mazasmusings.wordpress.com. There's a contact form there. You can also email mazasmusings@gmail.com, or you can find us on social media. We're at Maz's Musings Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. We're at the Maz's Musings Podcast on Facebook. You can also find us on Blue Sky, and we do have a TikTok, and we are now on YouTube, so be sure to go and subscribe there as well. I mentioned the website. In addition to having the contact information, you can also find past episodes. You can learn more about me and this podcast. You can sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is something that will drop into your mailbox once a week and will give you info on past episodes, what you might have missed. We'll also let you know what's coming up. We also shout out other podcasts. We will also give information and news on things that we think are interesting. And sometimes we'll even come across a sweepstakes or a contest that we think would be cool and that for you to enter. So all you have to do is click on the sign up for our newsletter right there on the website, and you'll get it once a week. Of course, also on the website, you can find where to buy us a blue milk. And buying us a blue milk is just a nice, easy way to help us out with some of the small costs that go into putting together this podcast. However you choose to support us, whether it's buying us blue milk or just listening to the podcast and leaving us a rating or review or just telling your friends, it's all great. We appreciate it all. And as always, I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. Theme music for the Maz's Musings podcast is brought to you by Hi Dad Soup. Check them out at Mickey and Minutes on Instagram.